We're really excited to have you here because, well, this technology is really, really cool, but it's more than just the technology. It's about what the technology enables. So let's do some introductions and then we'll dig into the content. My name is Scott Holzoffel. I'm Vice President of Enterprise Sales. Prior to this role, I was at Salesforce for 3.5 years as a VP and account executive. And so you might wonder, why the switch? Well, I met Gerald, who will be joining us on this call, and we're lucky to have him today because he's a true visionary when it comes to integration in SAP. For 3.5 years, when I worked at Salesforce, I watched clients struggle with the SAP and Salesforce integration. And it wasn't just the small companies, it was the big companies too. Everyone from 200 million in revenue to huge Fortune 50 companies implemented both Salesforce and SAP, and they either settled for batch integration or simply gave up because it was too hard, it was too expensive, too many resources, or it just took too long. When I met Gerald and saw what he had developed, I was like, holy shit, this changes everything. It's not middleware, it's disruptive. So we're excited to share it with you today. Let me turn it over to him, passion and vision.
Thank you so much, Scott. Quick intro on my side, and my accent probably gives it away anyways, but I'm originally from Austria, pretty much grew up with SAP, and they literally start putting you into SAP school now in kindergarten. Just kidding. So I was working in the SAP space over the last 20 years, implementing SAP in companies worldwide, South America, North America, Asia, all over Europe. And then about 10 years ago, I started to focus on how can we make SAP simpler for the user and especially for the customer. And I was fortunate enough to work with top brands like Under Armour, Firestone, Vera Bradley, ThyssenKrupp, Sharp, and so on the B2B commerce, on payment systems, and on CRM platforms, and got to learn at firsthand all the problems that come with it. But let's stop talking about me. Let's talk about why we are here today. It's the buzzword that's finally coming to realization, right? Digital transformation, just not a buzzword anymore. And the 21st century corporation is becoming reality, and that's happening now. The best and most successful companies today are making today the shift to this environment. They want to be the 21st century corporations, connected enterprise, where commerce is seamless and frictionless, where customers and employee engagement is seamless and frictionless, and always one goal in mind, to have happy customers and happy employees, and therefore drive a top-line growth and, of course, company value. But the question is really, are you ready? Are you able to keep up with it? And a couple of years ago, I think everybody remembers that is in the IT for a while, we were still focusing on getting old school user screens optimized and connected to our enterprise systems. And we thought it's the coolest thing ever. A lot of complexity came with that, but that changed pretty quickly. Because today, we are tasked to make interactions easy and simple, self-service for customer and for our employees. So you see those ugly front-end screens are replaced with easy and nice interactions. And we're not just talking about 3 to 5 apps. If we look at Gartner's surveys, enterprises are getting ready to have hundreds of digital integration points. And it makes our environment very complex, almost unbearable to manage, and very expensive. And that's a very big challenge for all organizations we touch on a daily basis in today's world. The question is really, can you keep up with the agility of the digital world? It's constantly changing. It's constantly pushing new boundaries. We don't really know what's coming tomorrow, next year. And the current systems in place, especially old school ETL solutions, are too rigid to keep up with it. And we are getting literally stuck. We hear that every day with customers and prospects we're talking to. They're saying, we are stuck with what we have set up. How do we fix it? We are not able to move at the speed of the business. And it's way too expensive to do so. The result, of course, frustrated customers and frustrated employees. And what that means, competition will take our business away. That needs to change. And that basically is the goal of enosiX. That's why we founded enosiX at the beginning. There's only one purpose in mind: simple access to enterprise data, not in months, not in weeks, not outdated, not possible, now in real time. Bidirectional, seamless communication between your systems at your fingertips. And with that, then, enosiX is giving the freedom of enterprise data to the business without limitations. And that's a game changer if you think about what's then possible. GE calls it challenge of the impossible. You might think now, what has that to do with Salesforce and SAP integration? Pretty much everything. Without enterprise data, without enterprise business process integration, there is no complete 360-degree view of the customer and no perfect service for the customer. And that's why we built a real native integration between Salesforce and SAP to empower the Salesforce users and to really help them service their customers better. And as we believe, some things are just meant to be together and make things better.
Thanks, Carol. As you said, some things are just better together. So I don't know if there's any music fans out there. I'm a huge fan of the Rolling Stones. And while Keith and Mick did well when they broke off on their own, it's hard to argue that together they were the best they could be. And then sometimes we found some things out there that just aren't so good together.
I'm a big fan of the pants, though.
The picnic pants are special.
They're awesome.
And then sometimes even the simplest concepts deliver huge benefits, like wheels on a box. And then some combinations are irresistibly brilliant. And so what does this have to do with enosiX? The way we see it, we are the Reese's cup of integration. We make integration taste great. And before Reese's came out with the peanut butter cup, it's not that you couldn't eat chocolate and peanut butter together. You absolutely could. You could take that bar of chocolate like they did on the left, jam it in the jar of peanut butter and eat it. But it's messy and it's not really integrated. The peanut butter is just sitting on top of the chocolate. It wasn't really part of the bar. So similarly, it's not that you can't get SAP and Salesforce data together. You can, but as we've found in talking to a lot of clients, it's messy. The data is often static. It's sitting in Salesforce. It's not timely, thus it's not useful. And for that reason, a lot of companies either don't do it at all or they struggle mightily. We've simplified this greater. We've made SAP and Salesforce integration tasty. So let's talk about how we do that. When you purchased Salesforce, you were trying to connect with your customers in a whole new way. And for the most part, you probably succeeded. And when you purchased SAP, you were trying to help your company become a best-run business. So now you've got your system of engagement in Salesforce and your system of record in SAP, but there's a problem. They're not tightly integrated. So now you have your Salesforce users engaging with their customers, but they don't have actionable data and information to be effective. And that's where enosiX comes in. So if you don't do this, and if you don't do the native integration, you're going to create a lot of problems. And I've seen this from my past at Salesforce. One, you're going to lose productivity. And it can come in various forms. You can have double entry by various admins. There can be swivel chairing back and forth between systems. Unnecessary calls to inside sales and customer support. We probably see this more than anything as we've been meeting with various clients. The biggest drag on productivity is the reps in the field calling and bogging down inside sales and customer support because they don't trust the data. The other issue is that you can't engage with your customers as you'd like because you lack the real-time information on quotes and inventory, shipment tracking, things that the customers want to know when you're in front of them, not when you get back to your desk. And then lastly, if you are a VP of sales or a director of sales ops, you're concerned about adoption. I know that was always a big concern with my clients. What can I do to get my users to make better use of Salesforce? And one of the keys is giving them actionable data in there to make best of use. So we're helping you deliver on the promise of your investments. So let's go to the next screen here. So if you're familiar with Salesforce, this is going to look very familiar to you. And so this is an account screen, a typical account screen. And along the bottom, what you have are various SAP transaction screens, and then in the lower right, you've got SAP's Fiori. And this is a very real world for maybe a lot on this call and certainly a lot of our clients, in that they're in all these different systems. They're doing transactions in SAP, then they're going to Salesforce for some data. They may be leveraging a Fiori app or something else. And again, this goes back to my statement, this is very unproductive. And so what we're doing is we're basically with our enosiX framework, we're turning Salesforce into an agility layer for SAP, a single pane of glass. So we're helping you reach the goal of a 360-degree view of the customer. So let's look and see what that would look like. There's two different ways that we can get data from SAP into Salesforce so that you can consume it. One is dynamically. So as you saw, when I clicked, the shipping address dynamically appears. So every time this page loads, you're getting real-time calls from SAP into Salesforce and displaying that data. The other thing that we're doing are building these buttons. And these buttons are triggers that are calling the data in real time, whether you want to view customer details or sales orders or SAP quotes, all highly configurable. These are the examples we chose that were relevant, but it might be different for your business. And then, of course, we're eliminating the need for all these different mobile apps because you can leverage Salesforce One. So whether you're using your iPhone, your iPad, your Mac, through your regular PC, all that information is visible, that SAP data in your Salesforce screen. And again, it's real time. So let me walk you through a use. This is a real use case from a client of ours. And so they have more than most from my experience. Here they are doing nightly batch updates. They're leveraging Informatica to bring data from SAP into a staging area. And then they're using Dell Boomi and then batching that nightly over to update certain fields in Salesforce. What they were trying to do is they had a long wish list, and the business was trying to get real-time order and invoice history. They're trying to get delivery tracking. They wanted to be able to start a returns process from Salesforce out in the field. And then they also wanted to do account update information in SAP from Salesforce. The problem was that leveraging these tools, what they were looking at to get this, of course, I forgot to mention they want all this in real time. And leveraging those tools, they were looking at 12 and in some cases 18 months to get this data. They wanted to get this data from SAP into Salesforce. So we sat down, went through the business process, did a little business process mapping and talked about how this would work. And what we came back with is that for us, out of the box, in real time, this is our core competency. This is what we do. And so we were able to reduce their time from 12 to 18 months to 3 to 4 weeks. So again, we were delivering all that information and all that value in real time in a 3 to 4 week period. So moving on, so our addition, so what we do is we are giving you access to standard SAP objects, and then those can be customized to include any custom transactions or Z tables or custom fields that you have in SAP. So out of the box, we're able to deliver real-time access, create, read, update access to any of these objects. And then lastly, this is a technical overview. And we're going to go a little deeper dive in our next webinar. So I know this was, the goal of this was to focus more on the sales side and the use cases for the business. And then we're going to do another webinar in about 2 weeks where we're going to get down to the technical guts of our solution and how it works and why we're able to deliver this in such a short period.
And I think Scott, there is another FAQ session coming following this as well, where we then just focus on questions from the people and then answering those as well, and that will go out as a post as well to the audience.
Exactly.
At some point.
So I'm going to pause here for a couple of minutes and allow you to type any questions that you want into the chat box. And if we have any, we'll read those. And if not, we will we'll be following up separately. Okay. We'll wait one more minute here to see if there are any questions come up. Okay, it doesn't look like there's any questions today. We do have from a previous webinar an FAQ session that we ran about a month ago, and we will make sure you're aware of this and post this. And we appreciate your time. Please check out our website. Oh, hold on, we missed it. It sounds like we do have some questions. Hold on 1 second, let us get to those. Sorry about that. Okay.
So one of the questions is there any SAP data available in Salesforce for reporting? Yes, for sure. We just did something around order history that refreshes constantly in pie charts with Salesforce. Reporting, of course, is always a very complex topic. Is it already aggregated in SAP? Where are we pulling it? But we have numerous possibilities there as well. We are not a consolidation engine, right? So there's other engines out there, but we can then consume data and present that in the screens with pie charts and all those things, of course. One question was, does it transfer all data objects from SAP to Salesforce? Yes, we will talk about that in the technical section. So that's the secret sauce here. You do not need to recreate all the data objects in the Salesforce piece. We actually, Gartner calls it humanizing the APIs. So there is a smart way where we generate the configuration and classes out of SAP, our framework, and then generate easy readable code for Salesforce developers and Salesforce admins so that they can consume the data in Salesforce by themselves without or with very minimal SAP knowledge and interaction. So the question to that is yes. Your solution has a functional scope. I would refer to the enterprise definition and starter edition. So yes, we have objects that get pre-built out of the box. So we can literally activate them within days on your system and they work. And then of course from there, as it is built as well as a development framework for developers, your Salesforce admins, Salesforce developers can take that and use it and custom develop screens as well. We have even customers that don't use the CRM functionality of Salesforce, but use Salesforce for the mobile app development.
So, and that's a great point. So if you are working with the App Cloud or the Force.com license or communities, you can also leverage our framework to provide that data in real time. So while there are certainly CRM capabilities, it's also flexible enough to support you in building your platform apps.
Next question is, how do you distinguish yourself from a traditional middleware? So very much that our focus is transactions real time. There is no data synchronization. If you look at typical ETL, and as Scott explained in that use case, Informatica, Boomi, they focus heavily on data synchronization from SAP into Salesforce. The data is typically stored in Salesforce, and then you have to figure out how to synchronize that. We connect in real time, and we are saying there is no middleware because you install on the Salesforce a piece and you install an SAP a piece, and they talk seamlessly with each other. So there is no mapping rules necessary, anything like that. We leverage out of the box all the business rules in SAP. Huge advantage as well. We have complex and deep integration into SAP. So simple things like drop-down fields. Sales organization plans, what plans are allowed to a sales organization, what delivery areas, and so on for warehouses. We generate that all on the fly for the screens. That does not need to be manually recoded like with a traditional ETL system. Of course, then all the multi-sales organization, multi-plant, multi-currency, all that is pre-built in our framework and ready to go. And you don't need to worry about that deep integration to create that by yourself with typical ETL, as it is with typical ETL systems.
And then I would add, when you take everything that Gerald just shared into consideration, the other differentiator is just a quicker time to value for us. Our implementations are much shorter.
Yeah, that's why we do POCs in 3 days, and we then do go lives within 30 days, right? It depends on how many objects you want to activate and how custom your front-end screens are. but we have bidirectional communication within a couple of hours without any additional infrastructure necessary. That's a huge deal as well. What is your pricing structure? Scott, I'll let you answer that.
We price by user, by Salesforce user. If you're looking at a community, then it would be transaction based, but it's a one-to-one relationship with your Salesforce users.
A technical question. Some of those are now for the technical session, but I'm just answering it here. How do you deal with Z process? And in the ABAP world, Z process means custom enhancements. So they are taken care of as part of our framework. We leverage all the user exits, anything that you added, add-ons, or that are SAP certified, or Vistex, Vertex, Paymetric, freight shipping, all that stuff is taken care of and leveraged. We simulate all that. You don't have to recode that. If you did your appends in SAP, I don't want to get too technical, your appends in SAP, according to SAP enhancements, guidelines, then all those objects are taken care of in the framework. And should you have custom tables, then you can, in the backend system, the framework, it's object-oriented, you can inherit from that, and then really easily in a couple of hours, just merge that data in, and the framework takes care of the rest. So our customers love it because those Z processes can be built very quickly and in a very agile methodology. Question, is the integration bidirectional? Yes, of course. Can I explode data from SAP BO? Yes, you can. How does your solution differentiate with Salesforce Lightning Connect? So actually it works with Lightning Connect. So the standard Lightning Connect exposes data on database level only and not on object level. So you have, if you want to have customer data, you need to connect to 5 customer tables and then merge them and consolidate them yourself and know the join relationships. Just an example would be currency is problematic, right? Because you need to do the currency conversion. If you're working internationally, yen is stored with different decimals on the database, so your Salesforce admin needs to know that they need to convert that on the fly. We can connect our business objects, our smart objects, into the Lightning connector, so you can consume the whole customer object at once, and then don't need to go down on the database level. So there's 2 tracks at the moment that we see with customers. One is the Salesforce developers, they're coding in Apex, the Visual Force pages, if it needs to be real customized screens, and then the track 2 for easy and simple transaction, the Lightning Connect is used.
We like to think we put the Lightning Connect on steroids.
When is the technical webinar scheduled? I don't have the date in front of me, but it's either next week or in 2 weeks. We will send out, with the follow-up and the recording, we will send out an email that as well in the next days. We had the OData Lightning Connect. Does it mean that SAP's data are not uploaded in Salesforce? It is read live. Yes, that's absolutely correctly. Again, there is scenarios where we synchronize data, like on customers, or if you have opportunities where you integrate quotes or inquiries with pricing, where we update the price so you can do pipeline and funnel management, and where we synchronize customer master data from SAP to Salesforce and from Salesforce to SAP, so that your mailings, if you use the outbound email campaigns of Salesforce, that all that is working. But we will really challenge, why do we need to synchronize data? Because we can pull 85–90% in real time, anytime. And that's a huge advantage when you think about growing that application and the footprint of this into a worldwide organization. Can we download the slides? Yes, we will send out an email with the recording that will follow up. It will be on our website. There was another question with the licensing of Lightning Connect. Do you have Lightning Connect license? So if you want to use Lightning Connect, then yes, then we can connect the objects into Lightning Connect. That would be the track if you want to have your citizen developer approach with Salesforce, with the new tool set that's coming out. Or if you are just talking about the force pages with Apex and they're really coded, then you don't need the Lightning Connect. Then you can connect from Salesforce directly with our framework.
And maybe the big difference between us and Connect as well is that, as Gareth said, we've built all the back-end integration already. So if you wanted Salesforce Connect, or if you already have it, you'd obviously have to license separately with Salesforce. We are not a reseller of it.
Okay, I see there's a couple of other questions coming in, but they're getting really technical. So we defer that to the technical session in a week or so. We will follow up one-on-one as well with everybody. And if there is questions and you guys want to know it now, then we're happy to do one-on-one sessions, 30-minute sessions as well, and walk you through in detail how the secret sauce of this works.
Yeah, as Carol said, don't feel like you have to wait for the overview. We're happy to engage and set up some time and do a webinar or WebEx with you one-on-one. Thanks to everybody. We appreciate your time and look forward to the follow-up. Have a great day.